I'm Kyle Bossman, and I finished Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'm Michael Huber, and I finished Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'm Brandon Jones, and I reviewed Horizon Zero Dawn.
Gentlemen, let's get our keys.
On 3, we activate spoiler mode. 1, 2, 3.
Spoiler mode, final warning, spoiler mode, activated.
Welcome to Spoiler Mode. This is often requested of us. Just go nuts. Talk about everything. We can't do it on most of our shows. We can't do that on Frame Trap. We can't even do that on a stream. We can't ruin things for people. We've given them a chance. Listen, if you've not finished Horizon Zero Dawn, go away.
Yeah.
What's weird about this show is it's only for people who have finished a particular game. It's usually a game that we all care about. It's a big game we've all finished. Maybe it doesn't have to be big, but a game that we all feel we liked, presumably, that is worth discussing in its entirety. I'm excited for this.
I liked it. I liked this video game.
Oh, you like Horizon? Yeah. Jones, I want to series this out, though. And I don't want to be the only moderator of Spoiler Mode. I want Spoiler Modes to exist for games I've never finished. And so, yeah, I don't want to be the boss of Spoiler Mode. But I feel like Spoiler Mode is a thing that should exist. We should be able to talk about games freely. And honestly, we probably won't discuss Horizon Zero Dawn again until GOTYs. This is probably the last.
Unless we're getting some crazy DLC or something, yeah.
Yeah, and we are, but the game as it is now, this might be the last time we get ever to discuss it. So I'm excited. The way this is going to work, we have basically 4 segments in which we'll discuss Horizon Zero Dawn. We're going to start with some juicy stuff, favorite secrets. Then we're moving on to a segment called The Final Boss. We don't ever get to talk about the final boss of a game that just came out. I'm excited. And then, maybe the biggest chunk will be called The Ending and the Entire Story. We're going to talk about it all, baby. And finally, this final segment is called The Legacy. But let's kick it off with our first segment, Favorite Secrets. Jones, what's your favorite secret?
It's a presumptuous headline for you, Kyle, because you actively seek out those secrets.
Yes.
And the thing that was tricky for me as a reviewer, especially of an open world game, I'm kind of one and done. I remember I found the stadium was I took it to reference Red Rocks. That they have the music festivals here. Built in. It's one of those stadiums built into the mountains.
Yeah.
And you can kind of stand up and notice, oh yeah, I can kind of see the stage and the seats. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so when I would see one of those on the map, I'd be like, I know what that is, but the review's due in 4 days, and I'm moving on. I get what those are not going to shape the score at this point, and so I don't need to get all of them. And it was just way more.
Did you do the cauldrons?
I did all the cauldrons, yeah.
Those are secrets, Jones.
Yeah.
Those are
Are
things
they
you
really,
can't.
Kyle?
They are, because you can discuss those, I think.
And you can skip them.
Yeah.
But a secret to me is stumbling upon something in a game that you didn't know was there. The cauldrons are clearly labeled on the map.
Oh, I think they count, Huber.
They're on the map.
They're off the beaten path. There's nobody telling you to go to the cauldrons.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody tells you to do a side quest. Is a side quest a secret?
Absolutely, people tell you to do a side quest. They're like, "Oh, my sister's hurt. Please."
Yeah. So an NPC actually tells you don't do the cauldrons.
Yeah. So
You idiot.
I think they
Stay
totally
away.
count as a secret. I think they're totally a secret.
I was specifically told at the preview event and in reviews, do not show cauldrons under any circumstances ever.
So Hubert, that's why we're talking about it right now. Is because of that.
All right. Even though it's on the map.
Yes, because Hubert, I want to discuss the things we can't talk about in other times. Why are you being weird about that? I want to talk about cauldrons.
Because see,
It feels good. It feels good to be able to talk about cauldrons right now.
I
Hubert.
want to talk about
This game has temples.
I can't wait to talk about the cauldrons. It was my favorite part of this video game.
We're doing it right now.
But
Yep.
you, Kyle Bossman, secret hunter, secret master.
Yeah. Love cauldrons.
I just think there is a fine line of what is or isn't
So Hubert,
a
secrets.
secret.
It's an unexpected thing, and I absolutely did not expect cauldrons coming into this game. I did not expect deep temples.
Okay.
And
You're right. It was very surprising.
yeah.
And yes. Okay.
And so finding that first cauldron, seeing it on the map, not really knowing what to expect, I kind of expected like a couple of rooms. Jones kind of hinted ahead of time. He's like, that's when the story stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no story stuff in there, Jones.
Sure there is.
Like what?
Like that's where the robots are being built.
Sure, you're right. Yeah.
Aloy says that 5 million times. Well, we got to know where are all these robots coming from?
Yeah,
From there.
the
That
cauldrons.
is the thing that is making the robots.
Yeah.
mystery solved. There's no other thing. Oh, where could they be coming? That they are coming from those things.
Yeah.
And clearly, when you're going through the guts of that, it's like, how am I going to shut this down? Okay, you know, put that life goal on the back shelf. Like, there's no stopping this factory. And it kind of, you know, I don't know if that kind of did that take away the joy of killing these robots. That you realize, like, oh well, there's gonna be 20 more where that came from. Like, I'm really just kind of getting these out of my way as opposed to actually like culling the herd.
Jones, another part I love about Cauldrons is the reward
Oh,
Yeah.
that it gives you the ability to take over
Yes.
these monsters.
Yeah, satisfying reward. That
Absolutely,
promotes
yes.
stealth. That if you can get in there, because one of the things they do to up the difficulty is by mixing up different types of robots at a time. That
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you just had a bunch of these little spider dudes in a circle, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had a bunch of these spider dudes and a Ravager just walking around, and a couple Watchers that could piss that Ravager off, and you can get right next to that Ravager and like, and just like, you know, now he's on your team and he's just gonna kill everybody in that group.
Yeah.
Good times.
I was on, I don't know what we call it, not corrupting. I was taking them over for the rest of the game after I started cauldroning. And I prioritize the cauldrons because of that.
And she kind of teases you too. If Aloy
Oh, yeah.
sees something that she can't, she's like, I'm one cauldron away from being able to take over those big
It is
guys.
funny because I'm like, Aloy, why would you think of the word cauldron? Why would you even say that? It is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. She was right. And it incentivized finding those secret temples. And I think it's some of the most fun stuff I did in the game is actually inside
absolutely.
the cauldrons.
Because for the most part, Horizon takes you along. You know, the main quests are fairly linear.
Yeah.
And the Cauldrons was the place where it's like, okay, I kind of have to like figure out where to go in a sense. It's still mostly linear, but there were some when you had to like climb on the moving boxes. I remember that was really fun and like drop to a specific platform.
Changed the way
and-
the gears went. They just felt like Zelda temples.
Yeah.
Roughly. You're right. They're not Zelda temples completely in puzzle design, but yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I love those.
I love them because even like figuring out where to go, then you had to figure out like, you know, one of them had a big thunder maw in it, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I gonna beat this thing? Because it's like early in the game, I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of equipment, like I don't have a lot of health, like it was tough.
I think the way I beat it is getting the Gatling gun, the disc shooter that was off of that
Yes.
thing. It was there's no other way. I was killing it too slowly otherwise. Oh man, that thing is so cool. They have boss fights at the end of these things. They're perfect.
It casts Horizon in a really good light when you think of a game like Recore, where like the cauldrons are the game.
Sure.
You know, like that's the entire video game. That and this kind of overworld. Whereas you have things that I found were more interesting than what I was seeing, you know, on display in Recore. That's just kind of like you were saying, it's skippable. You know, like you don't have to go into any of them.
And Secret, they did not put those in the trailers that I saw. I bet leading up to it and reveal trailers and things, you got hints at the cauldrons.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way they looked distinct. Just the machinery inside is some of the best looking stuff.
All the tubing.
Yes.
In it. Oh yes.
Honestly, it looked like PS1 cutscenes, CG cutscenes. And I was like, "Whoa, these look like PS1 cuts." I was so excited about that.
The
stuff.
ending credits goes through a cauldron.
Yeah.
And so I and one of the things that I like too is, and this is one of the questions that I have, maybe we'll get into that, maybe they just kind of leave that up in the air after the first game, is that the way this looks, did the robots do this? Or was that, you know, is this like Johnny Five, like trying to just adding circuits to himself? Is this like the Borg, where it's just kind of like over time they keep layering cables and cables and cables? Or did the factory look like this back when Zero Dawn was initiated?
Sure.
Like, I don't know.
Right.
You know, and they don't really explain that. I don't really need that to be explained. Artistically, I kind of like, you know, coming to my own conclusion there.
Yeah.
Just the sense of discovery in there as well, because you know, not to harp on this whole secret thing.
Yeah.
But I'm so passionate about it because for the nature of this game, a huge open world game in the wilderness, I wanted a larger sense of discovery,
Yeah.
and I felt let down by that in the end. I felt like there wasn't a lot to
we'll get
see off the beaten path.
We'll get there.
But the Cauldrons was a place where every single time I went in one of these, I was glued to it. I was awed.
I want to talk about the two other things that I thought were kind of cool and rewarding. One of them is seeing a little window into the past if you get to a certain point. I don't remember what the icon is. I think it's an eyeball. You basically, it's weird. Some guys like Armageddon, Day 82.
Yeah.
This thing was happening in my
The
life.
voice recording.
Yeah, but seeing the past was really cool, and seeing that this is Denver, basically. Is that correct? Yeah, because there was Denver Stadium, which was fun. There's like a little Riggs icon on the side, so Riggs is part of the canon. It's just stupid. But I thought those were cool things to go find. And
Yeah.
always there was a bunch of loot near him, and so it did feel rewarding to go to get those things.
It was that one thing that didn't level me up in any appreciable way, and so
Yeah.
I was focused on other. I wanted to get stronger every time I did
You had to
something.
do a review. I get it. And finally, another secret that I really dig. I dig anytime there's just ultimate armor that you have to work through the entire game to get.
Troll armor.
What do you mean troll armor?
There's a door that opens the room the armor's in.
Yeah.
That needs 3 things.
3 more.
Right.
You
The
have
power
one
cells.
going. I was like, oh, I already got one.
Yeah.
I'm plugged it in. I just need 2 more.
Yeah.
And you get the 2 more, and you open it up, and now there's 5 more.
Yeah,
God.
Jones, I have to admit, I looked up where to find the power cells because they're not always
Oh, sure.
obvious.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just as simple as.
Some of them are in
Just
really
go get 'em.
interesting spots.
I missed one.
Which one?
When you were like, look it up.
Yeah.
Because I was missing one, and it was one all the way back at the beginning of the game.
Yes, me too. I missed that exact same one in
Mother's
Mother's
Lodge.
Cradle or something.
Yeah.
Mother's Lodge. Yes. What a good spot, and it's just
Yeah.
like you have to duck and go
Yeah.
into some dump vent.
Because that's at a part in the game when someone is tugging you along. They're talking to you, and it's like, okay, like kind of am looking around in this place, looking in rooms, and they're like, come on, like let's go.
Yeah.
So
And I love it's the
Clever.
way it's presented is because you find this it's another cave. I love caves in video games, great caves. So you go down in this cave and you find this power armor and you see it.
Yeah.
Before you even see where you put it power cells and it's behind that window. It's like, oh, cool armor. Do I get to wear that? And so you have to go through that thing and then another thing to actually finally get it.
like
And-
Assassin's Creed does that, like the vault, and it's always the Ezio armor, like the legendary armor of an assassin.
And you get to see it before
And
you
you
get
see
it.
it, yeah, and you slowly unlock it. And
Cool.
I love that on so many levels. From a gameplay perspective, like you said, going through the game to get it, but also it makes me think of the history, and it's like, who wore this? Why is this here? Like it's
And there's
builds-
answers for that too. Which is
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
and that I love that stuff.
And then when
it
you
makes
finally
me
get it-
want it more.
And it's not that armor. It's not literally that armor. You use that, you implement it into your own self, so you still look like Aloy, but you have this weird, like hexagonal light shimmering over you, and it's overpowered. You're basically invincible if you take a bunch of for a certain amount of hits. Extremely useful. That is my kind of secret. I love that kind of thing.
Very cool.
Are those the only secrets we want to discuss? It seems like it.
I mean, we it's kind of a crossover from secrets into storytelling. There's lots of logs you can find.
Sure.
I always appreciate that. I love a good audio log when I'm going through a cave or something like that. Something right at the entrance that pop that on. Okay, now I got somebody talking for 30, 40, 50 seconds as I'm going to explore something.
Yeah.
So I'm getting, like just a nice 7-layer dip of context all at the same time.
There are absolutely some good audio logs. I want to discuss them when we talk about story because I
Yeah.
think that is how a lot of the story is represented.
And I have criticism of that.
Ooh,
here we go.
interesting. Little tease. Let's talk about the final boss. Can you imagine we get to shoot a thing where we get to talk about the final boss of a video game? This feels
It
good.
does feel good.
So the final boss is a corrupted Deathbringer. That thing is... Okay, so I got a couple of
It's
feelings
like
about
an
this.
army, though, too. I mean, it's
Because more animals come in
Yeah.
while you're fighting it.
Yeah.
Here's what I like about it is that it's not something that was manufactured suddenly as the final boss. It kind of makes sense in the world. That is all there is. If there was something better than that, they would have been using it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of makes sense
Sure.
that it's not something that's just made up suddenly. Your Hades is doing something bad, and there's a ticking clock, and you got to kill that Deathbringer in a certain amount of time. What do we think about that final boss?
I wasn't blown away, but I'll tell you about one boss fight that did kind of surprise me. When we'll get into this later. When
Yeah.
a character comes and rescues you.
You don't have to say a character.
Sure.
We've all seen
When
it.
Silence comes running in with
Yeah.
a couple of Striders that he's hacked.
In the the gladiator scene.
And comes to rescue from the gladiator scene.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of the gladiator arena, and they're like, "Here's 2 Deathbringers." I was like, "Let's do this." And it's
Yeah.
a cutscene. I'm like, "Oh, we're leaving." Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I had
hear
that.
you, John. Yeah,
You know, like, I
Yeah.
totally had that. I was looking forward to that fight actually.
Yeah.
So that was a little silly. Like, I think they might have. It felt like they were assuming that I was like, "I'm dead. Thanks for saving me."
And you're like, I
was
got
kind of
this.
bummed
It looks
actually. I
funny.
was like, "Oh, I needed those parts."
I wish they had hyped up like a big bad T-Rex, like bigger than a Thundermaw. Maybe
coulda
like
done
one
it.
hiding
Yeah.
away, kind of like Hades' last line of defense, like his main robot dino general kind of thing.
I
Like,
think because here's the thing with the
I would've
Deathbringers,
appreciated it.
the first one you fight is half dead, right? It's immobile and it has half a health meter, and the second one you fight it's like full on. And this is the first time like this is a corrupted Deathbringer, and it doesn't feel like that escalation. What sucks is a bunch of the tricks I was using didn't quite work. I used those arrows a bunch that are I think they're called disruptors.
that,
They
like
go
Teleblast or whatever, Terrablast.
and pieces fall off. That doesn't work on corrupted guys. It just simply doesn't. the way I ended up killing this final boss is just brute force. Just hitting its weak points with my most powerful arrows.
Yeah.
Is that what you all did too?
Mostly, yeah.
I don't recall a particular strategy.
Yeah.
That's a
Hard
bummer,
point
right?
arrow.
For a final boss? Your
Yeah.
final boss, you want to be using everything
is.
you learned. You want to be hating this final boss.
Absolutely. I thought it could have been better. The benefit of the doubt was the urgency. It was like this ending point after that giant army attacked the village. So it's like, all right, we fought through the
It's
army.
pretty great, man. That gun you have that sucks up the
I
things.
love that
shoots
gun.
them
Yeah,
out.
that gun is so cool.
Totally makes sense. It's like, yeah, from them building it,
Yeah.
makes sense that you can't just take that out into the world and go kick ass. It's like, no, it's a turret. Like I need to use it at this spot.
Yeah.
I love that they have the different stations, and if you slide in a station and just grab the gun, the guy's like, okay, and he'll leave. And go to another station, so you don't have some guy like, hey, this is my gun. You know,
Yeah.
he recognized you're Aloy. I'm out. You know, like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna get in your way.
That is cool.
I thought that was really neat, and just the way the lines were set up, so it was very easy to jump from one spot.
And I
to
like that
another.
that part's not hard. I like that it's kind of like,
Yeah,
you got a
the
sweet gun. Just
the most
do it.
difficult combat encounters I had in this game had nothing to do with the side quest, had nothing to do with the main story. It was just me. Oops, whoa, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong
off in
time.
the field. Sure, absolutely.
Just there was one point to get some credit for something. I fought 2 of the Tremors. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The
Jones,
guys
I
that
saw
dig.
those once.
That was the worst fight. That
Yeah.
was I was
those things are brutal.
screaming at the television.
Rock
Yeah.
Because one of them, like rock biters or something. But like
yeah.
because one of them would dive down below and just hang out
Yeah.
for half a
was
minute. And I think,
a,
did I kill that guy? I can't remember.
Were they
right underneath
corrupted?
me, like ah.
I think there was like
maybe.
a
Corrupted even.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I love? I played through that game, interacted with them once by accident. That's it. They're not part of any main story. They're just a cool
There's
optional enemy.
there's
yeah.
a side quest where you talk to a guy and he's like, yeah, someone's down in that pit.
Yeah.
Like they took it over. Like we can't beat it. Like
That's
so
totally
you go
not
down
even
and
Oh
Big
yeah,
Lord.
at his mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of enemies.
It's a
in the game.
monster. It's
cool.
like not a monster. So I think Rock Breaker is what they're called.
Yeah, that might be Rock Paper. But I mean, I guess we can talk about those 3 parts as the final boss
I have a
altogether.
question, though.
Sure.
For the final boss,
Yeah.
who was there for you?
Oh, because I didn't do too many side missions?
Yes.
Okay, so there is Mustache Man, who is
Errand. Yes.
There were a couple of people from way back from Mother's Den. Some of my old tribe mates.
Oh, like Teb. Teb, I think it was.
Teb was there,
Okay.
but very few others.
Was your hunter partner there from the Hunter's Lodge?
No.
The female hunter.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
She shows up too.
So you did some cool Hunter side quest stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I did Hunter side quest missions.
Nice, Jones. This is surprising. We'll get there with story stuff.
I completed this.
Cool.
But
might be a
but
little-
those people show up when you're doing your final thing, and they kind of help
Yeah.
you fight the Ravagers and all that appear. I got to be honest, Huber. You always say kill the ads. Ignore them.
Ignore him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the way to win that final boss.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ignore them.
Yeah.
Everybody else is dealing with them. Just shoot your arrows straight at the weak points of the
God.
big
My
Deathbringer.
favorite thing in this game is
Huh.
a heavy attack on
knock
just a
it over.
big thing that
Oh,
you
yeah,
knock
dude.
over and you stab it.
You got to upgrade that.
God, it feels so good.
Yeah, it does.
It feels unbelievably good. Are we going into combat? Like,
No, because combat you can totally talk about on Frame Trap. You can talk about that on a live
You
stream.
missed your chance.
okay,
I mean,
It just-
Huber,
it
when we
just
talk about the
Jones-
legacy, when we get to the legacy, you can absolutely talk
okay.
about combat.
Because
Yes.
I'm really eager to talk about combat in an open world game with Brandon Jones.
Yes, you're right.
Because I really think this raised the bar
for open worlds.
for open world combat.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're right. When we
Yeah.
talk about like The Witcher 3, we're like the combat's okay because of everything else that the game does so
Yeah.
well.
Combat is the best thing in this
Yes.
game.
Sure.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
It's so good.
If there's anything this game can hang its hat on, is that is never. I played this game for 60 hours. I never ever disliked any combat encounter I ever had.
Yeah.
I loved all of it.
So you know what I actually kind of like,
Intensely.
and I could maybe we can consider this part of the final boss is that the confrontation it's in the city. You fight Helis. Hela comes in, and I like that you can just kill him
Mm-hmm.
first. It's not this weird like pretend thing where it's like I'm a boss and I have ads
Yeah.
and you can't come and
Or,
fight
I'm
me.
invincible for
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
headshot,
Yeah.
headshot. You're
Dead.
first. You're
Yeah.
dead.
And he's dead. That's it. And you can go talk to him anything afterward and like. But I thought that was kind of cool. That was a
Yeah.
cool interaction, cool area to fight people with. But yeah, the final boss with the Deathbringer is like, oh, come on. This is the final escalation of the game. I don't know. It wasn't too hard. I think I killed it on my first shot.
Yeah.
Did we all? Is that this was like a first shot
Yes.
final boss? Yeah.
I might have like fallen accidentally, like not noticed the staircase was like knocked
Yeah.
away behind me, or just
Yeah.
like got cornered or something dumb.
What was that, Huber?
I was just gonna say what's good about that final boss is
What's good about the final boss,
is that
please?
he was not really the final boss.
As we move into the ending and the entire story.
Boop-a-doo.
Go ahead, Hubert. What's up?
So you kill Hades, kill him,
Yep.
and
You stick your staff in Hades.
Silence, which is this old veteran,
Curious man.
curious man with a thirst for knowledge, is initially sketch, and then not. He saves you in the arena that you were just talking about. He helps you so much along your journey. He gives you a upgraded staff at one point.
He gives you his staff.
He gives you basically all the information about Elizabeth Sobek.
Elizabeth Sobek.
Elizabeth Sobek.
Yeah.
And basically warms up to you the entire game, only to be revealed at the very end that he has this like magical lantern device.
Post credits.
Post credits, magical lantern, and steals Hades. Basically, Hades' spirit is like flying around.
Yeah.
Right into
Hubert,
the magic lantern.
Guess how stoked I was during that scene.
How so?
0%.
I love
First
it.
off, one of the King's guys,
tricked me.
one of the King's guys is just banging on Hades.
Yeah.
And then a soul appears out of Hades, and it just
Weird.
like flies into the little magic lantern.
Yeah.
No. You think I want to be hyped by that? Just like, okay, yeah, and you open the door for your sequel.
Well, let's deconstruct the hype. Let's
Okay.
try. We got a bowl of stuff happening here.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
just take a little
You wanna pick that
flake
apart?
out of
Okay.
the bowl, a little noodle
Yeah, yeah.
of hype.
Yeah.
They know they're gonna do a sequel. They're
Yes.
ready.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Yeah.
That's prepared.
You
know,
don't
that
need to
they're like,
represent it with a little
before you're
Hades
done,
soul.
before you put this on the shelf, know full well we're in. There will be Horizon 2.
Do you think we needed a visual representation of Hades flying out of the orb and into a little lantern?
I mean, it's goofy, but like I can come up with silly sci-fi reasons why that's a
Yeah.
thing. You
Yeah.
know why?
Okay.
And it was the impact was that it was him, that he was playing you the whole time.
But
I don't
I
think it
don't-
was. So I don't think it was.
I don't think we know, Huber.
Dude, for a video game character to fool me with his true motivations, that says something.
Well, actually, so I kind of like the character because I think he knew Hades had to be stopped right there. I think he did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't like
whatever
he
he
was-
wanted to do, whether good or bad, he
Yeah.
would not have been able to do without what you did.
Yeah.
without
remember,
Aloy did.
Remember too, he walks over to like the biggest, most massive, giant tank robot that is destroyed on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
That you've been looking at the whole game.
Yeah.
So
That's been up there. I'm assuming that's the thing you
And
can
he says,
see.
I have so much to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
so clearly, I mean that's sinister motivations right there.
I honestly think it really is about his pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
I think he knows Hades knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he wanted Hades to not accomplish his mission of destroying everything, obviously, but absolutely wanted Hades to answer more questions. He had.
I don't think it's that simple. Because he's smart what this guy pulled off.
Yeah.
How dumb is it to piss off Aloy? How dumb is it to make her your nemesis, So like I just don't see him coming out, here are my minions, rah, in the sequel. I think it'll be a little deeper than that.
Yeah.
I think he's still gonna kind of be a gray area.
Yeah, I think
could
he's gonna
see
slip
I
up.
could see Aloy and him having conversations where she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Look, Aloy, I don't understand why you're so upset. Like, I didn't say I wasn't gonna do this, and I don't see what I'm doing as that evil. I don't see him being the antagonist of the sequel."
Which is cool. He's honestly, I think
Yeah.
he's a really cool character.
Really cool character.
I loved his responses. I really enjoyed having conversations with him.
Yeah.
I hate beyond words that it's the guy from Fringe. I cannot even tell you.
And The Wire.
And The
John
Wire.
Wick.
And
Because
Quantum
it's-
Break?
Because it's straight
Is
up
the same
Quantum
guy from
Break.
Quantum Break?
and
Yes.
Quantum Break. Because it's straight
Lance
up
Henry.
ruined the character for me.
Because it's just a literal face capture, you mean? Like he looks
Dude,
at-
even before that, man, he does. You don't see him for a while. He just comes in over the communique, and literally, the guy in your game, the character in your game that you want to shadow drop on me, is the only person you cast as a major celebrity. What? He came in over the communique and was like, "Listen, Aloy." I'm like, "It's the guy from Fringe." I knew, like, he literally hadn't gotten
not
4
everybody's
syllables to that
seen-
communique, and I knew right away.
Not everyone's seen Fringe.
So
or
you
John
roll the
Wick.
dice that some people get that awesome gaming experience, but I don't. Thanks. You
Jonesy
can't.
got host.
You can't just cast some. You can't cast a voice actor that can make this weird little character.
But when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, I love him. Awesome.
Well,
Let's go. And then I'm dying.
I love him too, but I don't love Silence. Silence doesn't exist for me. That's him. It's the guy from Fringe. When he appeared and was like, "It's me," I'm like, "Of course it is."
Jones,
that
you got-
moment
Are you like
not
that with
only did
movies?
not have
He is-
emotional
it's-
resonance.
Jones is like this
no,
Hugh
I'm
Jackman
not
every
because
time?
movies are live action, dude. Do you understand the difference?
But
They are
Scarlett Johansson, you get so mad about Scarlett Johansson being the Snake. I remember.
just because it's not because it is I guess I'm weird. I guess I have this mutant ability
is a
that
weird
like
thing, yeah.
that I know who Scarlett Johansson is. Yes, I cannot remove her from my brain. If I see a snake and it sounds like Scarlett Johansson, I'm not thinking about a snake. I'm not able to like, yeah, sure, Scarlett, I'm into this snake. No, it is that person. And there are people that can move out of that, like Troy Baker,
Yeah.
that I can find out that he was in Far Cry 4 after I've beaten it and be like, what? Like, yeah, that was Troy Baker. Like, whoa. Scarlett is not one of them. The guy from Fringe is not one of them. Amazing actor. Love that guy. You know, cast him, you know, in anything, and yeah, I'll go see that. But like, shadow drop him on me in a game, and it's not gonna.
Jones, you and I are going to disagree on this.
We can move on.
Yeah,
for
we're
like
gonna
10 more
yeah.
years.
Me too.
This is going to be the disagreement of our lifetimes. I
Great.
think. Here's a really cool thing that I want to discuss. I hope you all want to discuss stuff.
But I never
parts of the
trusted
story
him
too.
for a moment. Yeah.
I'm too trusting.
Yeah, I like that.
Because he was sketch at first,
Yeah.
and then it's like, all right, this guy's saving me. Like,
Yeah, he
You
earns your
know,
trust.
yeah,
He played it. You're right. He's played it smart, and he's an interesting character because of that. He
But
wasn't.
he had great lines. Like one line I love. She's like, "Why aren't you here?" And he's like, "Why would I be?"
Yeah.
I don't
She's
need
like,
to be.
"Because we're here to get." And he's like, "You're. Look at what you're doing. Why would I? Why am I gonna get your way?" You
Yeah.
know, it's like, good point.
Good point. So, I want to talk about the inciting incident. I want to talk about why any of this happened. Particularly, not the glitch that made the robots start to take over the world. I truly believe that was just a glitch. The reason why Hades was activated, because here's what is in the script, and this is what always confuses me. Here's what happens: Guy is talking to Aloy and says, 3 microseconds ago, the Gaia Prime facility received a data transmission of an unknown origin. Its immediate effect was to transform my subordinate functions into unregulated, self-aware entities of a highly chaotic nature. Thus awakened, the Hades function will now seize control. So, right, Hades is there. If everything's going bad, Hades appears and wipes everything out. Kind of a weird thing to think of, but like I kind of like it at the same time. I really want to talk about that weird thing that suddenly took over. And I think the things that also corrupts the various dinos. I think that's the same thing. And where that came from and what's that about? Do we have theories? Is that ever explained, or is that something that's like going to be running throughout this franchise?
My money is that's a character. We're gonna find out who that was.
That corrupted Gaia.
Whether that's a new
Yeah.
person now, or whether that's an AI, or whether that's a subsystem, or whether that's a person on that crew that maybe we met or did not.
Yeah.
That secretly put something in there.
Right, and this happened 17 years ago. This is why Aloy was made, is because this thing happened. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. We don't know. It's the part that I'm most interested in the story, really.
Absolutely.
I love the way that Zero Dawn is revealed. The whole plan.
Yes.
The way that each little piece of it is introduced to us is just the right amount.
And it's incredible because when you're discovering it, you're like in a research facility, and just as I'm in the present, learning about the past and thinking about everything I had just done too, like thinking about all the people that I encountered out there, all the villages and the hunters, thinking about their day-to-day life, but then learning about like all of the past and everything that had gotten us here to this point.
Yeah.
It was just like a powerful feeling that just it made me think about the past and the present and the future,
Yeah.
like in a very profound way.
Right. It's cool to start off as this person who simply just hunts with rocks.
Yeah.
And then to go to these things and find out all this past and things like that. Jones, I know you wanted to talk about, I think this is a good time because we're talking about the discovery of the story, some audio logs that you liked.
Or just in general, I thought, I played the beginning of this game 3 different times. And when I went back through for my final session to actually for review the game, I really love that moment. I think it's so sincere when she discovers that first message. And the
happy
look
birthday
on
one.
little Aloy's.
Sure.
She's, whoa.
Yeah.
She's kind of smiling and okay. And you kind of see her face and like, and being, having theater experience, like being with people on stage and seeing them like mouth words when you're like, no, don't do that. Like, they're like, when you're talking and they're
Mouthing
mouthing what you're saying.
your
Like,
lines.
she's
Yeah.
kind of doing that and just this, like, just completely blowing her mind. And in this moment, realizing, wait a minute, whoa, this is like because you love film as a medium, and one of the reasons it's so exciting because there's so many different things to absorb. There's what the person's saying, what's other people are doing in the background, there's what's happening, what happened before, what happened afterwards. There's so many different layers of meaning to what you're just looking at, and so the fact that the what's going on in her brain could not have been explained to her. Like she might even know what a birthday is. Just like so many.
Yeah.
Whoa. And the fact that then at the end of the game when Silence is like, oh, your daddy's little girl or something, and she's like, oh, he's like, I've been
It's when
watching
he
you
gives
since
her
then.
a new what's it? Focus. He gives her a new focus, and
He's like, I've been there since that moment.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a silly. I've been inside. We played Doom 3. I played so many sci-fi games where you have those moments where I like this is a message of happier times before Rapture fell or so on and so forth. And so for that to have this emotional tie with her, and for her to come back out of this cave in the beginning to a world that not only will reject everything that she saw or will try to explain, but will actively damage her or harm her if she keeps on trying to make her case.
Yeah.
So I was bummed out with all these, Kyle.
All of them.
Like most of them.
Okay, so I hate audio logs, absolutely.
Way too many lore dumps.
Yeah.
I'm on a main quest. I'm going into a facility. Somebody's talking in my ear. There's audio logs to pick up.
And sometimes it'll overlap with dialogue.
There's
Absolutely, that sucks.
a flashback, holograms playing, and somebody talking to my ear, and an audio log to pick up, and a text document to pick up.
Yeah.
There's no joke, so many times during the main missions where they give you 15 audio and text pickups
Over the
in a
top.
matter of 3 minutes.
And in the wild too, and
I'm
some of them are just so
too
pointless.
Many,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
checked out halfway through the game, and
Yeah.
I usually read every single word.
Not possible in this one.
All these documents.
I'll tell you a couple that I
way
like.
too many.
Because I feel Huber, I skipped so many of them.
God.
I like. I got two examples I like a lot that I think were unique and interesting. One of them was it's near the end. You're in the bunker, and you hear the messages from the soldiers who are fighting the robots off, and they never will. And you hear the progression of their messages.
Yeah.
And then you go upstairs and you hear the censored versions of those messages. That was pretty cool. I really like that. That covers one, the helplessness they're feeling against fighting these robots, which you cannot kill the robots. They will kill everybody eventually. And also the idea that, the sad idea that the government is trying to keep everybody complacent, knowing, hey, you're all going to die, but we can't let you know that because we need everybody just to be peaceful. And
Did you get to the robots dealing with people, the human robots? We're like, why are you so upset right now? And
Oh yeah, when you learn that they were just
That's unsettling.
these people grew up with no education.
Yeah.
They couldn't know a single thing. God, that's so freaky. And then the other one I really like a lot is it's a message. It's not an audio message. It's a written message. That's it's before you learn what Zero Dawn is officially. You're out in the lobby and you read an email that says, "Hey, can you maybe soundproof the walls? A lot of people in the lobby are hearing crying and screaming." And I just think that's so cool. That's an email that would exist. It's not just dear me, I gotta go. There's somebody here. And so I like that, and it prepares you for what you're about to watch in an interesting way. Obviously, I wasn't sobbing and crying, but that's a cool thing, and it really establishes the tone of the message.
And as far as tone goes, I think one of the things that really surprised me, especially in this big action-heavy game, is that every time I got to check back in with the story, it got worse. Not the story got worse, but the circumstances of these people I was reading about.
The inevitability of everybody dying.
But I mean, it just every time I just kind of turned to the next page, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's well, we'll see if it's like reading The Walking Dead. It's And that doesn't mean your story will be better the meaner you are to your characters, but I was not expecting that, because you're kind of following along with Aloy. She's like, there's got to be some civilization of survivors I haven't found, and it's they're all gone.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
And that's, maybe I need to read more like Asimov, but I don't recall a lot of sci-fi stories that have dealt with the complete annihilation. Not only the complete annihilation of humankind, but the acceptance of that and the planning for that.
Yeah.
You don't read that often.
This stuck with me. Honestly, this idea of software creating life and the rules by which that software lives is such an interesting concept to me. Yeah. And I really like the idea of Hades, this idea of software that determines that our life is wrong, that we're not doing it right, and then having to fight against this thing that's going to wipe everyone out. That's why I'm kind of bummed that it was just a weird bug that activated Hades. I'd really love if Hades just said, "Oh, you're all doing bad. I'm gonna wipe you all out."
I'm
You
glad
know,
it
But,
wasn't,
but
though.
that might be another situation where like
Sure.
they maybe tease in Horizon 2 that you're chasing after the person that maybe did it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the big reveal is like, no, it was literally just this computer got pissed.
Yeah.
They literally
It's like
just,
humanity sucks.
They literally just
Yeah.
weighed, ones and zeros and we're like, yeah, I got that.
That'd be.
I would love that. Yeah.
That'd be a little more boring to me.
Right.
Because that's been done
Why?
before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Terminator
Cyber,
2.
yeah.
Sure.
Because I wanted you love it so much, and because this story has been done so many times, but they had made it so unique and so their
Yeah.
own because of all the players involved, and
Yeah.
just like again building life in the image that it wanted is like such a cool concept.
And shoot, it's another audio log I liked where Sobek's noticing that Gaia's honoring the life that existed on Earth in her designs. I think that's pretty cool. That explains why we have these creatures that kind of look like Earth creatures. Mm-hmm. Is just like Gaia kind of liked what Earth had and kind of designed them in that same way.
It's cool.
There's a dumb one that's just like all the animals that we could make are foxes, boars, the only ones that exist in the wildlife naturally. It's like
I was
it
waiting for
was a good start, but that's all we could do. It's like okay,
Just waiting for a bear to show up. It never happened.
yeah, they couldn't. They couldn't get those bears worked. They wanted to, but they couldn't get them done in time.
Or, I mean,
What?
bears eat a lot, dude. Bears eat a lot.
Yeah.
One bear consumes a ridiculous amount of food in a day.
Yeah.
They died. They didn't have enough to eat.
It's not canon.
They died out.
Not canon, Jones.
I'm
Theory.
putting my chips on that.
There's a
that corner of
canon
the table.
reason for the limited amount of numbers or animals that do exist. It's
What's
funny.
why you don't see tigers? This is why you don't see. We're also in
Yeah.
Colorado, so.
And
tigers
they
in
mentioned,
Colorado.
yeah, God. Well, maybe we'll talk about it with legacy. Just the idea that maybe there's other places that are alive today.
Totally.
Yeah.
And this game does not dismiss that.
Yeah.
This might be just one little section.
Mm-hmm.
Little corner.
Little corner.
We're still on story, right?
Yeah.
Gotta talk about Aloy, man.
Yeah, that's what I do want to talk about. And her ending, and her story, and her rise, and her arc. And
Aloy
everything.
hype.
Yeah.
My God. My goodness.
Okay, go
Great
ahead.
character.
Break into this, Hubert.
love Aloy because, first of all, her design. She looks so cool. I just loved like playing as her.
Yeah.
The way she jumps and like tucks her legs.
Oh, some of the animations
Yeah.
are
The
ridiculous.
slide is fantastic.
Slide. Again, the heavy hit and the stab.
Yeah.
But just how like not neutral she is about things, but like subtle. Just you expect her to like get all like pissed off at certain things, and she's so clear-headed and level-headed about arguments she has with other characters. She's like, well, I don't agree with you, like in such a cool level-headed way, not just like you're wrong, I'm the hero of this story. Like it was just she was such a nuanced character, and
You were picking brain though all the time.
No, not every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
You pick fists. Sometimes you're picking fists.
Sometimes you pick
I
that
do
too.
like that she did, regardless of what decisions you picked. I do like that whenever you're doing side quests, her demeanor is kind of like, okay, I mean, if I have time,
Yeah.
I'll help with that.
Exactly, yeah.
She was never like, yeah, I'm all over it. you know?
Yeah.
It's important for any heroic story to explain why the hero is different, and I think,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
The
extremely
outsider.
differentiated. Sorry,
Or the outsiders, right?
what's up?
Or the outcast. She was
Yes.
an outcast.
She was an outcast. Yeah. And weird design thing. I think it would be a less successful design if she didn't have cool red hair. I think that's honestly
love
like,
her hair.
yeah, I think it's a really
goodness.
key component to the character's design. It's weird, but extremely effective. Yeah. Hubert, I want to talk about Aloy's end, where
Yeah.
I know Jones wants to talk
so
about Aloy's
she
end.
grows up in this
Weepy.
culture where your mother is really important. You're nobody if you didn't have a mother.
Oh, I'm getting chills, man.
And so, yeah, I mean, the story ends where she finds her mother.
And but the other thing too is she knows that. She figures out, I think she figures out almost pretty early on when she meets Sobek for the first time or meets that person that existed. She's like, I guess that's my mom?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So she's kind of like stepped over that hurdle of are we related? Okay, I guess we are, but like why is it so many years later? Am I like, the 25th clone or something that's popped out? Are we actually like, and it's like you skipped a part. That's pretty important. You're already like moving on to these other assumptions. So I like that wasn't the big reveal because that was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, even just hearing the same voice actress, doing
Sure.
both characters, you
Yeah.
realize like, okay, I think
They're
this
identical.
is a copy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate that she's named Aloy though.
What?
Because it's
The
Alloy.
game
'cause it's
starts
steel?
out, and she's like, I'm Aloy, and he's like, I'm Rost, and I was like, oh, Gorilla, okay, come on, because why are you not named Rust? Why are you almost named Rust but not? Why?
Because it's different. I don't know.
I get it,
Like,
Jones.
what?
I get it.
Is that has that been your response to everything else we've talked about so far in this conversation? Like, why are there cauldrons? I don't know. Like, no, we have all sorts of reasons of what they
Sure,
can
sure.
do. She's named Aloy because it's cool. That's it. These people
No,
know
I
what
wanna-
an alloy is.
No.
They know that word. I don't think that's outside of their and they
I want to
just
talk about language.
but
in this
alloy's
game now.
too on the nose. Why couldn't it be on the nose? Why couldn't she be called Alloy? Why couldn't Rust explain to her this is why I called you Alloy? Because you remind me of this, or when I found you, you were this, or something,
Yeah.
But it's just a little off because it sounds cool. And
It's like names in the future. Like names change, and
silence. Like
Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth with no H. Names change in the future.
there's people
change.
called Elizabeth.
No, and
Yeah,
I
there's-
love-
there's- yes, there's
I didn't know that. Really?
yeah.
I didn't know that's a normal name.
I just love the language and that they triple down on you knowing so many of these words in this game. I mean, you have a conversation with a random character and they speak the way that they speak in this world, and you better know what the hell they're talking about or you're going to be lost and confused. Like, so many conversations. There's like, these people in this place do like this.
Shadow card.
Like, so many words that they just go all in on that I appreciated.
The final scene. The final scene before credits. Aloy wandering to Elizabeth Sobek's home, the ranch, where
Which
she's
is
just
who knows where. We
sitting on a
never
bench.
get to this spot.
Yeah.
Sequel.
I don't think so, dude. I think that's case closed on that. Which is kind of cool. She had that whole scene where for some reason she had to be outside the door to close it, and everyone's like, "Oh, we wanted to spend the rest of our lives with you," and she said, "No."
Yeah.
Yeah, which sucks. If she didn't do that, I mean, Hades would have snuck in. But also, I think it was Atlas. Is that the education? Like that one? It's all a thing. It all happened. Nasty stuff happened after Sobek had to leave everybody alone. Yeah, she just wandered off, knowing she's gonna die out there. Hades will kill her.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Love a good sacrifice.
And just that scene.
Context for the metal flowers too, because you find her in this Triforce.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, these other flowers pop up that are now, these are this cool thing that I can sell to people that they'll enjoy. But like, why are these here? And
there's
why
some
do they
sort of,
look exactly like the place where her final resting place? The other characters we haven't met, some other natural
maybe.
phenomenon that,
Sure.
that took after that. Like,
If you look in the logs for them,
I
there's
hope
like
it's not just dev fun. I hope there is some kind of
significance to the Triforce around it.
to finding those.
Absolutely.
But that got that I wept openly during that ending. I was like,
Yeah.
I was not prepared, Gorilla, and and this is I think is a plus and a minus for this game. I think the campaign and a lot of the side stories are blah. I just like it was even like meeting the king. Even like there was so many things people were telling me. I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the XP I'm gonna get from this. I'm super stoked about the new bow that you're gonna help me buy after this.
Yeah.
But this actual thing, I don't care. But at the same time, that worked because when you get in there, when she finally, when the story got good real fast, when all of a sudden it went from boy is this game fun, but I just don't care about the story to here we go is when she walked out of Mother's Cradle. I remember what she actually called it, that door that she tries to open in the beginning, and it's like error. She comes back later and is so smart. It's like error, and she's like, no, open, come on, and like oh, she's really learned. She's like a smarter person now. Goes in, finds all this stuff out, then comes out, and everyone's like, Aloy, and she's like, no, stop. And they're like, yeah, but we love you. And she's like, oh yeah, you didn't love me 2 weeks ago. Screw all you people. Like, you need to wise up. Like you guys have some harsh realities coming. And we can get more into that when we
Yeah.
talk about the future of the franchise.
When she came back later, she had to get the override from that other station.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It wasn't a simple like, no, let me in, click. It was she had to get that.
But she
weird
knew how
override.
to do it,
Yeah,
you know, and so and going back and revisiting that cutscene when I cut the review in the beginning and seeing that frustration when she was like, "Come on, she's
Yeah.
right there at the door, and I got the staff.
My mom's in there, yeah.
I need more than this."
Yeah.
But that kind of realization of her, like, oh no, I'm in a precarious position, because you'd think you win. I mean, you have their respect, and now you're super powerful, and everyone idolizes you. Great. And she's like, I hate being in this situation because you're wrong. The religions that you follow are based on non-truths and
Nonsense of a bunch of people who grew up with no education and just were
all
left out in the
all
wilderness.
the history I gotta tell you sucks. All of it. It's all
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. We can get into that with the future, but I cried. I mean, that ending hit me so hard because you have these two characters that they set up on opposite ends that both are tragic characters that you have, Sobek, who's the smartest person in the entire game. I even think ultimately she is smarter than Aloy could ever be, because Aloy has so much catching up to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Sobek's just, and I like that they kind of speak to just her brain is amazing. Like even just copying this biomatter, like worked out.
Yeah.
And her, like you were saying, not having a mother, not really understanding the importance of that. She's got Rostin, I've got myself, I don't need a mom, I guess I do, whatever. Not understanding that importance. And you got Sobek, through so many years, through so many centuries, beforehand, I don't need a daughter, I don't, whatever. And then this moment coming out where Sobek and Gaia are talking.
Yeah.
And Gaia asks
It's a recording.
her, if you had a child, what would you want to pass on to that child? And in the way I like to think of it, I like to think that Sobek was doing something mundane at that moment. That was just trying to fix something that had been breaking 10,000 times, and she's doing it. And Guy's like, oh, by the way. And she's like, what? Why were you asking about a kid? Well, anyway, and just kind of said this as an anecdote. And Guy's like, okay, and just kept that forever.
Yeah.
Whether Gaia meant to use that or not, like whether Gaia, always had that chip in the, on the table where she's like, if stuff goes really bad and I need a human being to fix this, I know there's no other person that I would rather pick. And her not having a daughter, her not having a mom, the two of them finding each other, they'll never quite be together.
Yeah.
The tragedy of that, but like her, just the solitude and the peacefulness of her being dead, and like
Played over
it's
a list of things that I want out of my daughter, and there's just all matching.
And the impact of not just being a skeleton that got blew away in the wind, but having this metal, this kind of, like wearing an astronaut's garb on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
They're like, you need this to just survive on the surface of the planet you were born on. And her having this beautiful moment that's closure, but it's also extremely depressing because she's just, I missed out on this, like I'll never get to tell you how cool you were. You'll never get to know how cool you were because you don't know that I exist.
Yeah.
And just this kind of the story does not exist in either of these women. It exists between them. That was incredibly profound. And I think hit me so hard because everything building up to that was okay.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, just this wave of emotion just came crashing on me at the end where I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Touche. Like, did not. Well done. If you meant to make the story bad to build up to that, I don't know. But it worked, like.
Jones, I think you capped it. I think you capped the story discussion very well there. It's time to talk about the legacy. And so in the legacy, I mean, we're wrapping up our talk about the game. And so I want to talk firstly about our biggest bummers. Let's get them out of the way. Our biggest bummers with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Side quests suck.
The side quests suck.
Yep.
Huber, that's
Hunters,
bold language.
dude, the Hunter's Lodge.
Okay,
stuff?
so I did skip it. So tell me
Oh,
about the
I
Hunter's
did
Lodge
two
stuff.
of those and never.
My God,
yeah, I
dude,
don't care.
no, like minimal payoff. First of all, the Hunter trials.
Yes.
That they make such a big deal about it. You need these full sun marks to get into the lodge. You need these so they take you seriously.
Yeah.
Every time you encounter a trial giver, they're like, oh, you can try these, but you're not going to be able to do it. Like, they make it such a big deal.
Okay.
Did all of them.
Uh-huh.
Full sun on all of them. Take them to the lodge.
Wow.
Give them to the vendor. She's like, here are your weapons.
Exclusive weapons.
That are like barely better than what you have.
This is what I was happy to learn this because I did see the weapons. I'm like, oh, I'll never get those weapons. They're probably so cool. They're not so cool.
Not so cool.
So they're not as good as the armor the secret armor you unlock. Okay. The Weaver armor.
Well, not to mention a lot of the things that the hunting grounds make you do is completely impractical in the game. There was the one that's like, knock these logs over to kill. I'm like, where the hell are the logs in the real world?
They're rare. The
I've
logs are
never
rare out
encountered
in the
any
real
kind of
world. Yeah.
environmental assistance of something. I don't need that.
And the way the game gives you the side quest too. Okay, this is maybe a personal issue. I don't know. It affected my OCD big time.
Whoa.
It gives you like access to 80% of the side quests from the get-go.
Yeah.
I had finished like every single side quest in the game basically and had done like 4 or 5 main quests. So it was just all front loaded. They're like, all right, bandit camps, corrupted zones, errands, Hunter's Lodge. I'm like, all right, well, this is here. I'm going to do this, like tie this up, get that XP. So it's like just the mixed message of like, all right, do we want you to, do you want to focus on the main story and do this? Or, we're going to give you access to all these side quests right now. Like, do what you want and then go back to the main story. It was just weirdly paced out. It just gave me them all at once, and I don't know, man. I dove into all of them, and
You came away with nothing.
I came away with nothing. I mean,
Wow.
there's like guys that are like, hey, find my sack that I left out in the wilderness, you
Yeah.
know, and you go there and you get ambushed, and it's like, how many times can we do the Witcher 3 follow the track hologram of the person moving through the woods?
Yeah. And the thing is, the best you can get out of any of those is XP and more mods.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
least,
And more resources.
yes,
But it's like
and-
the same things you get for everything. Yeah.
And I've been extra critical of side quests lately because the Witcher 3 side quests are some of the best written quests I've ever seen in video games. Yakuza 0 are some of the most emotionally investing side quests I've ever played in video games.
Okay.
And even Zelda, Breath of the Wild, you're doing some mundane, simple things, but they're giving you the freedom to kind of discover it on your own. Whereas these just weren't emotionally investing, the payoffs were never there, and the mechanics never changed.
Sure. To their credit, super skippable.
I should have.
skippable.
Although
should've
it was funny though, because
I
he
should've
was
skipped it.
explaining his playthrough, and it's like that's how I play open world games. Like
I
I go and I
know,
trim all the
right?
fat,
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
just get right in the middle of that cheeseburger and take a big old bite out of the campaign.
Yes.
What's your biggest bummer, Jones?
I'll tell you one of my biggest bummers that I've noticed a lot about open world games that I really want to nip in the bud, and I challenge Guerrilla to not put one solid single line of dialogue that falls victim to this.
Whoa.
And that's every time I'm 50 hours into the game, and I can't remember if Ravagers are sharp tooths.
Big.
But the Ravagers are like the same model as something else, but they have guns
Sawtooths.
on. They're
Yeah.
sawtooths
Sawtooths are
with
weaker.
rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has a line where she sees a Ravager and she goes, "A sawtooth with a rocket launcher, great." And she kept saying that hours and hours and hours and hours into the game. And
Sure.
it's like, come
Yeah.
on, like
Picking up the woods
Man.
or picking up the berries, like, these will be useful. Bitter, though. You're
right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
oh no, the worst one
Great,
was
yeah,
like
that was a
the worst was
precise
like
delivery.
hardy little plant. You'll help.
Yeah.
Like it's a plant. Calm down, Aloy. But one of the ones, so I think almost I stood up off the couch and shouted at the television. I was like, "Come on!" But it's and I actually loved going into this.
Yeah.
That all of the little the metal flowers and the Pope Pop statues or whatever
Cups, mugs.
had a person that was infatuated with them. Had actually a person in Meridian that you would talk to that's like, I'm trying to find these things, and like, here's context about what they are, and here's why we should find them. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I go find every single one of them, turn them all in, turn the very last one into him. Thank you very much, sir. Turn around and walk away. I make 2 steps away from him, and he's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second about something I need you to help me with? And it's
Oh,
like,
man.
you mean the thing I just finished? You mean the 20th time
God.
I've spoken to you,
Oh, my
NPC?
God.
Like, come on.
And Jones,
It can't be hard to just see that line and be like, once and never again.
if this, then this. Yeah. What Jones? What I think is cool about that criticism is because you see that character grow so much from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. It would be cool to hear her growth within just.
It's just where we're at with open world games.
Yeah.
It's the next.
Yeah.
It's the next step on the ladder that
hear
we
ya.
need to get up to. I
Yeah.
think that's how we can very easily improve. And I can imagine writers that are like, yeah, but what does she say? Just like, cool, great, neat. Need one of those. That's it. Just 3
And-
words.
and
You
it's
know,
a lot
like
of
they can be
dialogue.
real quick.
Suck is an unprofessional word, but it's because I'm so passionate about side quests. I think it is, especially in open world games.
Especially when you have the bar. When you have somebody like CD Projekt that's
Yes.
like, there you go.
There were, and there were a couple okay ones, like saving Olin's family
Yeah, I skipped it.
was
Sorry,
okay
Olin.
because you can kill him or save him, and
Yeah.
if you save him, he's like, okay, come help me with my family.
And he'll go with you or not. He asks before you go in, like, can I go with
Yeah.
you? And I was like, no, I work alone.
And like,
Get out
that's
of here.
cool. that one was okay. And then there's another one in the Hunter's Lodge where you hunt down a Thunderjaw with your partner because the leader went to go kill it on its own. It was like Red Maw. It was like this legendary.
Yeah.
But it was like the same as any other Thundermaw, which I had already killed a bunch because I had been doing other quests, so the impact was kind of lessened there.
But the convenience too of like you showing up at the Hunter Lodge and they're like blah 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 Red Maw. Oh, let me tell you about Red Maw. It's like, gee, I wonder if I'm gonna fight Red Maw.
So I got 2
I
big
wonder what's
bummers.
at the end of this quest line. It's just good.
Yeah.
Predictable.
I got 2 big bummers. One's really close to yours, Jones. You hand in all those mugs finally. You don't get a cool, unique item.
you guys did the mugs and the flowers?
Because I show you where it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they're-
did one of the two of those. I think it was
Yeah.
mugs and maybe some other collectible.
Right there on the map.
I did
Yeah.
all bandit camps, hunters.
I can't
Yeah.
believe you
side
didn't
quests,
do those and you did all the
corrupted
hunting
zones.
grounds.
Because I was like, dude, I'm not gonna find all these like GTA hidden packages, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna do any
No,
quest.
yeah, I did all the mugs.
Any quest.
Yeah. Nothing too cool, man. Just another random set of stuff you can weave into your costumes. I really want unique items for finding all those secrets, unique rewards for that. And so that was a
Have the
bummer.
ending be as satisfying as the beginning. Because
Yes.
I liked meeting these people and be like, well, you're a quirky guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love these flowers. Go find them.
Yeah.
You know? And like, explain what they are at the end or give me a little, little reward.
Something cool armor, some unique weapon.
But with the game that huge, I can see the concern. Like, you just you get overwhelmed and you don't know where to apply the pressure. You know, like,
Yeah.
what are the points, the specific points of this game that are that important that we need to make that amazing?
Yeah.
And can just kind of, you know.
The other big bummer is a pretty big bummer. This is Meridian. This is the biggest city in the game.
Yeah.
I want a city with life. I want a city that feels huge.
Kyle,
I want to
yes.
see villagers. I want to see a world worth fighting for. And I got a pretty dead city.
As an open world fan,
Yeah.
map, not that big.
Oh,
I saw some people on Twitter being like,
Yeah.
that map. And it's like, Zelda's double the game. Wildlands is maybe 3 times as big as that map.
we got this. Oh no, we did another Zelda
When
comparison.
you,
We've
when
done
you
a
make
couple.
that
I'm so
little,
almost
when
proud
you
of
make
ourselves.
that, when you get through that ravine and it opens up like the west,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Oh, I was surprised.
It
I was
felt
like, it's not
lifeless.
that big. I didn't
city?
finish the game
The city
thinking
itself?
like it needed to be bigger, but
Yeah.
it was small
Yeah.
compared
I-
to other games I've played.
There was a funny moment in Meridian. Some guy behind me when I was playing
Yeah.
in the game, he's like, "Oh man, this city moves fast" or something, and it was Geralt's voice from The Witcher 3, and I turned around expecting to see Geralt like an
amazing.
Easter egg
What
or
an Easter
egg.
something.
Yeah.
And it was just some NPC, but I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay.
It's just I think of like the towns in a Final Fantasy 9, full of life.
And The Witcher,
sure.
Kyle. I
Sure.
know you didn't finish,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
my
I got
God.
to a town. I got to a pretty big town in The Witcher 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Oxenfree and Oh my God, just bustling with
It was
life.
whichever one the Bloody Baron takes you to, and his daughter is at that city.
Yeah.
That's the city I went to.
Okay.
And you're right. Even though it's maybe just in architecture, maybe just in the way the streets are designed,
Yeah.
it's just they do feel
It's
more
life.
alive than Meridian felt, which sucks because Meridian's the biggest city. It's the one I saw in that initial reveal trailer, and I've been looking forward to for a year and a half. Right?
They talk about it all the time.
Yeah, and they talk about it so much leading up to it, and so it's a bummer. It feels small. It feels like there's nothing really interesting to go find in Meridian.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was a pretty big bummer for me.
Did you see, just because we were talking about it,
Yeah.
did you see CD Projekt and Gorilla on Twitter go back and forth?
Oh,
With the art?
they did like cute art. Yeah,
So
it was
cool.
really nice.
Love that.
So cool.
Good transition to best moments. What are our favorite parts of this game?
I mentioned one when she walks out and sees all of those people because it makes me think about Horizon 2
Sure.
and the unique position that Aloy will be in
Yeah.
and what you'll have to do from that point. That stuck out. And just combat wise, like I know we're straying away from that because we've had a chance to talk about that stuff, but just one
Best moments, man. Make it
but
happen.
just one beat where I was like, ha ha ha, game. You know, it's like Bruce Campbell when he reaches the Necronomicon. And it's like, where, sorry, you haven't seen that movie, Kyle. Where I went in and saw the crab guys, and for some reason they kept kicking my ass every single time I tried to get one of those.
Oh, they're tough. Crab
And-
guys are tough.
And I went into an area in the jungle with the things on the back that if you knock it off, you can get them, but if you blow them up, all of the stuff goes away.
Yeah.
And there were like 4 of them, and it was in like the jungle area on like the south side. And I'm like, I'm in pretty far into this game. And I don't know why it's just these 4 crab dudes. So I was like, oh, let me just sneak up on one of them. So I like walk up, and I'm just about to get him, and a stalker like walks right in front of me. And I was like, oh.
Are
of
those the invisible
course.
ones?
So it's
Stalkers
like,
are
I
the
see what
invisibles?
you did, Horizon.
Yeah.
You tricked me into thinking this was just a little herd of those spider dudes, but I didn't notice this. And the stalkers, I really love the rock breakers because they're really difficult, and I just got that Tremors vibe, and it's just
Yes.
so scary when they're on the ground.
Yeah.
But stalkers are the best.
Wait,
Fighting
are they
those
the
is so
invisible
much
ones?
fun. Yeah.
Are those stalkers? Okay.
But when they
Yeah.
when they don't know where you are, but they think you're in that bush,
Yeah.
and they get the sniper shot, like, is he there? And they shoot. Oh, it's like right next to you. He doesn't see me, and they walk around and start dropping mines, and like a mine's right next to you. You're like,
Yeah.
ugh.
It's cool.
Really great. I am playing with the code right now. This is not a mission. This is not something specific designed just for this. I just stumbled across this.
Yeah, John's
And
best-
that was 20 minutes right there of gameplay.
Best moments, I think, easily one of the. It's a hard moment because just the organic fun of just playing this game and hunting is fun. It's cool. It is that is really interesting. It's Like the bases, I'm just getting headshots on everybody. It's not too interesting when it's
The
humans.
destructible environments, like a Thunderjaw charging and like
Knocking down a tree.
just shattering.
Yes.
Rocks coming out.
It's a beautiful game. We got this
Yeah.
far without even talking about what this game is graphically. I guess because it's not a spoiler to say it's a beautiful game, but holy cow.
And we can't all be Brad Ellis and Ben Moore with some HDR. I can't even imagine. What
Did
it
not
looks
even
like.
see what this is like.
Oh my
And
god.
we've got some amazing games this year, but
Yeah.
a lot of technical concerns raised against some of our favorite games from this year, and like not many problems with Horizon.
Can I point out a weird? This is not the best moment. This is just a thing that I like a lot that the game does. So, my favorite parts of the game are the story that's the past. I did not care at all about the present. I didn't care about the present bad guys. I didn't care about my present friends. Aaron sucks. I don't like him. Sorry for using suck. It's not professional. Anyway, you get to a point. You progress one story too far, and it's like you really got to go help Aaron. You got to go do that thing. But anyway, I like that after you do all that. This is dumb, but it's context. I love it. They say, okay, so you want to go fight the bad guys? And it's kind of like, no, there's nothing we can do but wait. She's like, okay, well, just let me know if anything bad happens. So they leave the door completely open, guilt-free, for you to go do all the side missions if you want to do them. And it doesn't happen until you go sleep in a bed until the actual attack happens on the city. I should really like that. That's a strangely thoughtful way to handle the game's ending in an open world where you can just go do everything you want to.
But does remind me of something I would love in Horizon 2, and that is a home. Just some Aloys from that building over there, or maybe a couple. You know,
Yeah.
like that would be nice. It was
Player housing.
her beginning the game as an
Yeah.
outcast was nice, but her finishing the game as an outcast as a homeless person was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Why don't you go sleep in that bed?" It's like, is this the first time I've done this ever?
Let's do it.
I have no evidence of me sleeping anywhere at any point.
Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about the final segment of the legacy. Let's talk about the future. And you're already talking about the sequel. It's definitely happening, huh?
I mean, the beginning of my last paragraph of the review is this feels like the beginning of a franchise. I mean,
Sure.
they very clearly. I went into this game being like, Zero Dawn better be a thing. I better get to the credits of this game and know exactly what that was. And I got to the credits and was like,
Yeah.
perfect. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the sequel. And that's the thing. It's like I gave it 8 out of 10. A lot of people gave it 9s. Like that's kind of a little bit lower like on the scale. But
gave
I'm
it 4
telling
stars.
you, I am pumped for the sequel.
4 stars is different from 8 out of 10.
And then, or right, yeah, it was 4. Sorry, but I mean, if you were to find it on a aggregated
Yeah, that's what
review
sucks.
score, that's
Yeah,
how it'll show up. But I just again that moment of her realizing, okay, I have all of these people who are warring against each other. How do I stop this war while convincing them that there's bigger fish to fry, that we have all these other potential issues? How do I explain to these people that raised me who the hell Silence is? Like, how do I bring this world up to speed? Kind of the curse of knowledge, you know, of being so smart. Her kind of, you know, like ignorance is bliss, man. Like this sucks knowing all this stuff.
Yeah.
How do I explain that? How do I settle this stuff? I cannot wait, to see how she deals with that.
Before I do Legacy, I just want to shut the door on something.
Shut the door.
With the
and lock it.
Just really quickly, the payoffs of the side quests about the people showing up at the end.
Yeah, that's kind of rewarding.
It should have been, but like you guys have been kind of echoing throughout the night in this conversation, is that you didn't really care about them.
Yes.
You know, there wasn't enough with these characters for that payoff to be rewarding, where they showed up at the end to help you.
Most of the side
So-
characters do not have characters.
Because what
I'd say Ross
they
does.
care about
Yeah.
isn't important to me.
Sure.
None of it. I mean, I don't care if your boyfriend you last saw him on an island and he's gone. I don't care if the only character, which I think will be very interesting relationship in the sequel, is her and the king. Because I did like this moment because you see him, he's got this giant headdress on, and he's in this all he does is
The
sit
best.
in this throne all day.
Yes.
And she's there, and she's like, "This
Favorite
is
line.
the pomp and circumstance is a little much." And he's like, "I agree.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? You know,
Not
like,
good.
I'm stuck in this position. I'm not gonna turn my back on it. I'm not gonna, to change things up right now. Maybe in the future I will."
Yeah.
So I kind of seeing her going to him first and kind of breaking it down and being, I think you can handle this information.
Yeah.
Now what do we do? How do we slowly trickle this out so that these people can understand it, help us? We can all get on the same page.
His right hand man was really sketchy.
Yeah.
And his name's like
Unaccountable
the trusted
Bill
or
or
something.
something.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the guy who will never lie to you. Or,
Yeah.
Not a
Sorry.
factor. Not a factor.
I just wanted to shut that door.
Shut
'cause
that
I
door.
know
Yeah.
that was a lingering.
Lock it shut. This is our last chance. Huber, how do you think this game is going to be remembered in 2 years?
Aloy. Aloy has the potential to be a Sony mascot.
A Sony mascot.
straight up there with
Nathan Drake. Kratos.
Kratos. Because you look at God of War 1 and Uncharted 1, we've had so many games for those characters to build and develop. This is only Horizon 1, so I am eagerly waiting and anticipating where her character goes and how she grows and deals with the ramifications of this game and, what happens in the future.
I think this game's huge deal.
Huge.
You think of Killzone, Shadowfall. Washed away, right?
Yeah.
Stings.
Yeah, and it's not
I love Killzone.
right, but it's not like a bad game, right?
No, it's just average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just come out with this. Mm-hmm. Here it is. Here's a whole new franchise. Here's a whole different type of game. I think it changed how we perceive Guerrilla forever. I think it changed how we perceive the PlayStation 4. I think it adds value to what the PlayStation 4 is.
The legacy of the engine, Kojima.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes you
know?
think.
Clearly, Kojima came to them and he saw Horizon Zero Dawn and was like, bah.
What else did he see?
But even what we've
Yeah.
seen of Death Stranding, very metal and flesh coming together, and it's basically what this is. Yeah.
It's a good sign. Gosh, there's some times when it's nighttime and the game looks good. I hate nighttime in most games. I'm willing to skip it. And sometimes just it's a beauty at night, this game. It's crazy.
It feels like, I've been saying this a lot about like Zelda, but you can like feel the coldness kind of, but it's like a calm at night. Mm-hmm. You like feel the air,
Yeah.
and to translate that visually is something.
Yeah.
I think in this year of so many people having to shelve so many incredible games that they have planned on, me finding myself at this point now not playing Neo is beyond my understanding.
Me too, Jones. I'm with you.
And so I see Horizon being that game where we're going to be in, February of 2018, and just some random journalist is going to be like, "Oh my God, Horizon!" And we're like, "Yeah, dude,"
Yeah.
and it's not going to be like, "Where were you?" It's like, we know where you were. You were playing Zelda. You were
was a tough
playing
time,
Persona.
yeah.
You were playing, Nier Automata. Like, so you're not going to lament someone or be like, it's like a Yakuza 0 situation. Like, where were you? You missed out.
Yeah.
No, doors open.
Because I just don't see. I mean, I love Red Dead. I'm really excited about that. Those are two completely different games. Like, I don't see another open world action game coming in and dethroning this from what it does well. Even Zelda, a game which launched 2 weeks after, which with the bow and arrow, with a huge open world, with mounts, with like all these things, that were similar. It's still completely its own thing.
Yeah. I'm very glad to have played both. Absolutely.
Very similar.
I could not beat a boss at the preview event and had to have a developer come over and like take me through it and show me how to use the weapons. I was like, oh, because I didn't know the blast sling. Totally didn't know. You can imagine me trying to take down a Thunderjaw with literally just arrows, and realize, oh, there's a fire bomb
Weak
thing I have.
points,
Oh, I didn't even
freeze
see that, dude.
Oh God, tying them down feels so good.
And then getting to the point where I was at now, when I streamed the game, I was like, I'm just gonna go around and kick some robot ass because that I can easily do that for 2 hours. That is so much fun. And so I don't see that not being fun ever. I think this game is so solid. Like the gameplay mechanics are just so tight. Mm-hmm. And it glitches because every open world game ever made does. But at its core is such a strong foundation.
Yeah.
And I think we'll make is just such a wonderful way to set up a sequel. The only bad thing is I think it's almost to the detriment of this first game. That I think it's kind of like setting up. This game is the T, that Horizon 2 is the ball on top that they're just going to, hole in one.
It had to carry a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Huber, any final thoughts?
Can't wait for the future.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the history of video games, it's like
Whoa.
different than movies. Sometimes movies, a sequel comes out and you're like, oh God, a sequel? Really?
Yeah.
And there are just countless video game sequels that are even better than their predecessors.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, I think this is setting up Horizon 2, and I'm extremely hyped. I mean, this is now a franchise.
Yeah. The game is unique and successful. It's the best you could ever hope for. I'm very into the game. Cool. Hey.
We did it.
That wasn't all glowing. I like that. I like having the opportunity
we
to
dig in,
to air our grievances, agree to disagree on some points.
And a
So
lot of
right,
what sucks about those grievances is we can't share them anywhere else. It's spoiler mode only. So it felt a little nice to be able to just spew some of that out.
Yes.
Feels good.
Yes.
That's been spoiler mode. This is not a regular program. Do not expect. I mean, just shout at us when you want to see them. I think we saw a lot of Horizon. We see a lot of Zelda. We know that
We
you
see
want
a
to.
lot of
Zelda's-
Witcher 3.
yeah.
We see a lot of Witcher 3. Just keep doing it. I won't be on the Witcher 3 one. I just said I ended right after Crookback Bog. It's gonna have to be a different crew.
I got to do Blood and Wine.
Yeah. And so let us know if you like this. Let us know if you want more. What you want more of. I had a really good time this past hour.
This was great.
This is very fun.
Yes.
We just need more games that many of us have finished. It doesn't happen too often, to be honest with you.
It's hard.
We're-
It's really hard.
We're all
to
playing
get
different things.
A group of people
Yeah.
to beat a game close to launch.
Yeah.
You know, that's the key.
Yeah.
Horizon's fresh right now.
Persona 5.
Great. And
Oh my god.
give me a couple of months.
Oh my god.
Played at launch week.
Jones.
If you do not know what Easy Allies is, please check out easyallies.com and maybe even patreon.com/easyallies to see how you might support us. Thank you so much for even watching this video.
Thank you, Gorilla.
Wow, you're right.
Yes.
Thank you, Gorilla.
Game,
Thank you,
GG.
Gorilla.
Whoa, out of nowhere.
Yeah. Starting a brand new franchise, how terrifying is that?
Oh,
I was a doubter on this game. There's always 1 or 2 games a year.
Because
I set my
Sony
sights
pushed it
on.
so hard,
Yeah.
man.
and it,
And I was
Sony's
just
just
like open
shoved
world
it, like-
fatigue.
Yes.
I was like, I was coming off Shadow of Mordor, which everyone was
Yeah.
obsessed with, which I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's okay. I had my sights on this game in a negative light, and I'm ashamed of my words and deeds.
yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what? The tall necks is one of my favorite parts of the game. I love those tall necks.
Oh man.
I love those tall
The
necks.
tall neck that was in the bandit camp where all the bad guys were.
Yeah.
I didn't kill one of those bandits. I just crept up and I'm like, how do I get over there? And then I saw where to go and saw where it was and was
Yeah.
like, screw it. And I just ran.
And the game
and
doesn't
I
care.
got to the edge
Yeah.
right when the tall neck walked by. And I jumped on it with
Yes.
fire arrows shooting by me and
Yes.
And it sets out that pulse and weakens the dinos around that area.
I didn't
Did
know
you
it does
catch that?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Because the dinos around were electricitying it out. It's like, whatever that word is.
Copyright Easy Allies.